So, like, it just goes back to the mode of society. And there's always these, like, people, like, fighting for control over who gets to make the decisions for society as a whole. And then every person from birth, right? The very first thing that happens to you after birth is you're administered a test. Right. Yeah, your APGAR score. Right. So the very first thing that happens to you in American society when you are born is you're administered a test. And right. Yeah, your APGAR score. And APGAR scores are very, very important. Um, right. Turns out they are like the the biggest indicator of how successful you'll be in life for the entirety of your rest of your life. How high your APGAR score is. Yeah, it's true. And then the lower your APGAR score is, it indicates that you're possibly mentally handicapped. Right. So they know that like immediately after you're born that you're mentally handicapped. Right. And in the current mode of society since Reagan in the 80s and closed the mental health, closed all the sanitariums. And then there was a very big push to integrate, because prior to that, mentally handicapped children, retarded kids, right? Because we used to have retarded kids, not autistic, but retarded, which is something else that's not autism. Like, retarded kids used to be labeled as such. And it's people with exceptionally low IQs. People with IQs like right around 70. And they were labeled as, mentally retarded and not let into places where you would be have management control over others or have decision making capabilities that affected masses because they're not well suited to it. Right. So, but in the 80s, there was a big push to integrate these retarded kids into society so that no one would have to know you're retarded. Um, yeah, and they integrate fine as much so as like an IQ of about 70 is the same kind of decision making processes and emotional capabilities. Right, the same kind of capabilities that a seventh or eighth grade girl would have. So someone with the same, like, emotional IQ, the same amount of capability of controlling their emotions. Right, because mental retardation is also goes into the inability to control your emotions, your impulse control, all of that, a big part of being mentally retarded. And when they integrated these people, they can learn and copy others just fine. So, for the first, you can meet someone who's mentally retarded, right, that's been integrated into society and not really know that there's something wrong with them until about the third time. And then you're like, something, something doesn't make sense here. Um, right. Yeah, because, they can read, write, and toilet just fine, but then larger, yeah, like, broad, right, big picture things they can't grasp or understand, and then they won't understand that they can understand. So I misunderstood. I'm very mocking. I'm very mocking because my life is ruined daily by retards that have no business in my life. That I don't know. Some people are calling it a fucking clone program or some sort of fucking. Is it clones? They're not clones. They're I guess in a way, sure, but they're people that are set upon your life path in alignment with right, because there are life paths for the systematic control the elites have with the fucking birthday bullshit. And then you get these life paths, right? And they're all based upon just your birthday with no fucking thought or consideration whatsoever that you're not capable of what they decided you were capable of based upon your birthday. Right? You know, um, well, it's true. My birthday's October 9th. Anyway, what was that? But, yeah. Which makes Heather a life path 9. But we just don't believe she deserves those blessings. Because the chosen people. And I don't know where it came. I do know, though. I do know. The chosen ones, right? Because if you know who I am, this shit makes sense. And if you don't, you think I'm fucking crazy and I don't give a shit. So the chosen ones came out of, like, when I was still, like, fully in my life. Right. Another fucking AR. Right. When I worked in AR and I fucking picked. Right. When I was still in my life and I worked in AR, which is not augmented reality. No, it's not what you say it is. It's nothing. But then when they underhandedly put me in a conservatorship and took full charge of my life, they made up, everything to suit their own needs, in furtherance of fraud. And AR became this augmented reality, and then that means that we pick somebody who already got chosen to do that same life path, and then we're in charge of them. Right. Who are they? They're fucking retards from my fucking town that wanted my money. So it's not any big, like, you blow it out of proportion, but they're absolutely like these little nothing nobody retards who have gotten super way in over their heads, and they don't know what they're doing. Right? You really need to look at it for what it is and not for what you think that it is, because all of those people have no real control, authority, or power, and the only thing that gives them any control, authority, or power is that you listen to them. And if you don't listen to them, what happens? If you don't listen to that person, what happens? I mean, really, like when someone tells you such and such that you need to blah, 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 like really think to yourself, now, if I disregard entirely what this person has said to me, what will be the consequences? Right. Now, if it's like a court, if it's a court order, you're gonna get a bench warrant for disregarding court orders. That's what's gonna happen. Possible jail time. If it's like the girl that's insisting, I'm willing to mental though. You know that I'm Heather. You know that I've been here for so long, and you know it's really me. There's gonna be absolutely no repercussions for making her leave the property. Do you see the difference? Right. So they're not clones. I don't know. Like other groups are calling them clones. I don't call them clones. I call them delulus. Right, because they're pure delusion.